Ever wonder how much tax the average American billionaire actually pays on their vast wealth? It's a question that sparks debate and often leads to surprising answers. Try just over 3%, a figure that might seem unbelievable when you consider the sheer scale of their fortunes. That's less than many teachers, the very people shaping the minds of future generations, or baristas, who work hard every day to serve their communities. That's so little, a mere fraction of their total wealth. You could fit their entire annual tax bill, with room to spare, on a business card. It's almost incomprehensible. Doodle included, maybe even a haiku about tax avoidance. We're constantly told that everyone pays their fair share, contributing equally to the society we all benefit from. But the ultra-wealthy seem to have, through clever accounting and legal maneuvering, a VIP pass, granting them access to a different set of rules, to skip the line, bypassing the tax obligations that the rest of us diligently fulfill. The system isn't broken, it's not a glitch or an oversight. It's working exactly as designed, meticulously crafted to produce this outcome, by and for, carefully constructed through lobbying and influence, those it benefits, ensuring the continued accumulation of wealth at the very top. Most of us think income means, quite simply, a paycheck, earned through labor and subject to taxation, taxes withheld, deductions calculated, and a net amount received, and living on what's left, carefully managing our finances to make ends meet. But for billionaires, the rules are different. Income is flexible, a concept that can be molded and shaped to minimize tax liabilities, and a regular salary, the cornerstone of most people's financial lives, is passé, an antiquated notion that bears little relevance to their wealth accumulation strategies. Their wealth isn't taxed like ours, subjected to the same rates and regulations, because it's not income, at least not in the way the tax code defines it for the average citizen. In the traditional sense, the kind that gets reported on a W-2 form. Instead, they use sophisticated legal loopholes, carefully crafted by armies of lawyers and accountants, and financial wizardry, employing complex strategies to minimize their tax burden, to keep fortunes invisible, shielded from the prying eyes of regulators and the tax authorities, to the taxman, ensuring that their wealth remains largely untouched. It's time we learned, as citizens and taxpayers, the rules of their game, understanding how the ultra-wealthy navigate the tax system to their advantage. We often imagine the rich, those with immense fortunes, dutifully paying huge tax checks each year, contributing their fair share to society. But that's largely a myth, a misconception perpetuated by a lack of understanding of how wealth truly operates at the highest levels. Billionaires don't get massive paychecks, the kind where a significant chunk is automatically deducted for taxes. Instead, they hold wealth in assets, stocks, real estate, art, and other valuable holdings. If your house doubles in value, a substantial increase in your net worth, you don't pay tax until you sell that property and realize the gain. It's the same principle for billionaires' stocks and other investments. As long as they don't sell those assets, their wealth, those unrealized gains, the paper profits, isn't taxed at all. Instead of selling and triggering taxes, they borrow against their assets, using their wealth as collateral, effectively living tax-free off loans secured by their vast holdings. Loans aren't considered income, so no taxes are owed on borrowed money. This is the core of the buy, borrow, die strategy. Buy assets that appreciate over time, borrow against those assets to live comfortably, and then pass it all on to the next generation with special tax breaks designed to minimize estate taxes. Their wealth continues to grow, compounding over decades, largely untouched by the IRS during their lifetime. The system, as it's currently structured, lets them play by a completely different set of rules than the average taxpayer. That's the ultimate financial cheat code, allowing them to accumulate and maintain wealth with minimal tax liability. So where do billionaires stash their wealth? Tax havens. Places like the Cayman Islands or Delaware offer secrecy and minimal taxes. The first tool shell companies, paper entities that own assets but reveal nothing about the real owner. Next, offshore accounts protected by strict secrecy laws. By layering shell companies and offshore accounts, billionaires create a maze that hides their wealth. A mansion in London might be owned by a Panamanian company, funded by a Swiss account. The billionaire's name is nowhere to be found. This global shell game keeps trillions hidden from tax authorities. It's financial invisibility by design. Imagine a sum so vast it dwarfs the economies of entire nations. We're talking about serious money here. At least $10 trillion is hidden offshore, tucked away in secretive accounts and complex financial instruments. That's more than the entire economic output of Japan, a global powerhouse. It even surpasses the combined economies of Japan and Germany, two of the world's leading industrial nations. The scale is truly staggering. Leaks like the Pandora Papers, a massive trove of confidential financial records, exposed how politicians, those entrusted with public service, and billionaires, the wealthiest individuals on the planet, use anonymous companies, shell corporations with no real physical presence, to hide assets, shielding their fortunes from taxes and scrutiny. Here's how it works. It's a bit like a Matryoshka doll, with layers upon layers of financial complexity. First, they sell stock, generating a substantial capital gain. Then they route the money, often through a series of international transfers, to a shell company conveniently located in Bermuda, a notorious tax haven. There, they pay zero tax, taking full advantage of the island's favorable tax laws. Next, they loan it, the same money, to another shell company in the Caymans, another Caribbean island known for its financial secrecy. This allows them to buy yachts, symbols of extravagant wealth, and jets providing ultimate luxury and convenience. On paper, the billionaire owns nothing. They've effectively distanced themselves from their own assets. The companies do, these faceless entities become the legal owners. Add a trust, a legal arrangement that holds assets for the benefit of others, often in places like South Dakota, which has become a haven for these types of arrangements, and the secrecy deepens, making it even harder to trace the money back to its original source. Dynasty trusts can shield wealth for generations, ensuring that fortunes remain protected for decades to come, with records sealed from public view, hidden from prying eyes and regulatory oversight. Lawyers, highly skilled legal professionals, and accountants, experts in financial management, build these structures, crafting intricate financial arrangements, exploiting every loophole, taking advantage of ambiguities in the law. For billionaires, it's a small price, a mere fraction of their vast wealth, to save billions in taxes, significantly increasing their net worth. This isn't a bug in the system. It's not an accidental flaw. It's the system itself, intentionally designed to benefit the wealthy. A parallel financial universe operating outside the reach of ordinary citizens, open only to the ultra-rich, creating a two-tiered system of finance. Why does this matter? When trillions are hidden, there's less money for hospitals, schools, and infrastructure. The tax burden shifts to ordinary people and small businesses. Every dollar billionaires avoid is made up by everyone else, or by cutting public services. It erodes trust and deepens inequality, creating modern-day aristocracies. Fixing this requires political will and international cooperation, but awareness is the first step. The current system is a choice. Laws made by people can be changed by people. Next time you hear about billionaire fortunes, ask, how much is actually helping society? The more we understand the game, the better our chances of changing it.